What's the meaning of stress, by the way? I mean, yeah, we always face it in our lives, including studies. Yeah, it could be more. We all know what kind of stress it is. Sometimes it's good, but most of the time, it's not really good. I don't know why, but yeah. There will be one time when you want to go to work, and it must be something holding you to do what's next. And you start confusing, you start rushing, feeling angry, so on. And if you're like it or not, you'll end up to face it, and it's really, really messed up. Many people will be facing the stress, and for me, life is complex, but we are not helpless to do something about the stress we feel. Something will force us to slow down. We must listen to our hearts and face a dawning awareness. Job, spouse, lifestyle, something that is not right for me. Human Relations Subject Group 1 Section 3, presenting about responding to personal and work-related stress.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. That was a really good introduction to our group presentation, right? So as you may know from the intro itself, our group will be talking about stress. And before I actually continue more, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Hamim with the metric number of DIT 181002. And as for today, my group and I, we would like to be sharing you more about stress. Or specifically, it will be on responding to work and personal related stress. See, stress is actually a part of our lives. There's an ugly truth to it though. We can't actually escape from stress, but we can find ways to actually overcome it. And also, stress is what makes us human. If we don't have stress, let's say if we don't have stress at all, we might as well say that we don't have emotions or feelings, right? And that makes us inhumane. So, without doubt, I may confirm that everyone has gone through stress. It can be so many different kinds of stresses in many different situations. Therefore, we are here to help you by giving it all that we know about stress and actually find ways to overcome it. Let's move on to the stress related factors in our life. See, there are two simultaneous events that are linked to usually lead to stress. And that is the external stimulus, or as we call it, stresses, which is the trigger event, as well as the physical and environment response to that stimulus, which can be referred as our reactions towards the event. Next up, unexpected emotions such as anxiety, fear, muscle tension, or even a surging heart rate will be a cause of stress. It is because stress, it doesn't only come from the outside environment, but it also builds up within us, within our body and our mind. Furthermore, environmental stress at work, especially, it is usually caused by noise, safety concerns, windowless settings, or even long hours of work, maybe unrealistic deadlines as well. It's gonna build up more pressure in us, and it's gonna make us feel even more stressed out with our work. However, there is a thing such there is such a thing called a positive stress. You want to know what that is? Well, positive stress are stresses that actually give you more motivation in what you are actually doing. This is like you're giving yourself a challenge when you're feeling stressed out, and at the same time you're actually making progress in your work, and it's actually increasing your energy and desire to perform that task effectively and efficiently. But nonetheless, the mental stress that we've been going through are mostly have been mostly negative thoughts and faulty reasonings. Now, I guess we can further go on to the ways of how we respond to stress. See, there are three elements as we speak about responding to stress. The first is the stressor, like I said before, which is the trigger event. Second is the perception of how you actually take it in. And third is how you actually respond to it. Here we are mainly focusing on the second and third element. So, how do we actually take in stress and how we actually respond to that? We can respond in ways that help balances our mental, physical, emotional state, or usually we give it or usually we'll often give it a natural response, like a fight or flight syndrome. A fight or flight syndrome is actually whether you want to deal with that stress or you just want to let it go. Like, if you're stressed out on this, you can either give it up or you can challenge yourself more, right? Also, we can take stress as a challenge rather than a threat. In order for us to reduce the risk of having health issues when we're going through the mentioned stress, whereas our critical thinking, planning, and creativity will highly decrease due to the increase of adrenaline that interrupts our mind's critical abilities. I think that's all from me from the factors of stress, as well as how we can actually respond to it. Now we can move on to the next presenter, and therefore you go. That's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
So thank you for having me as your next presenter. My name is Aimirul Mukmin bin Ahmad Azli. So today I will be presenting about the major causes of stress and also the symptoms of stress. Let's go. So let us begin with the major causes of stress. What kind of stress are they? Let's find out. So let us start with the first point, which is the work-life balance. Many surveys indicate that the work-life balance is the most important employment benefit. It is also an economic downturn which forces many workers to defer efforts to strike a better work-life performance. So moving on to the second point, which is the irregular schedules, or should I say long-hour schedules. So it mainly leads to we never close economy. For example, like having to work on an evening shifts, 12-hour shifts, weekend shifts, and many which may lead to stress on the work. Moving on to the third point, which is the changes of our surrounding. For example, like the changes of our economies, for example. Doing jobs faster, mastering advanced technology, taking on a new work assignment, which can lead to stress. So on to the next point, which is multitasking. Communication technology creates a disturbance and also distractions for us. Although multitasking can be very stressful, we must always find a way to embrace it. So moving on to the fifth point, which is noise pollution. Noise is an unwanted sound, such as the roar of the traffic, the neighbor's music, the voice of a person who is nearby, which may lead to stress without our conscious awareness. So the noise that you can shut off is likely to have a negative effect on your emotional well-being. Now on to the sixth point, which is incompetent leaders. Stress may arise when incompetent leaders, such as first A, which is fail to recognize employee ideas and concerns, second B, which is withhold information from employees, third C, fail to clarify roles and responsibilities, and last but not least, D, sets unreasonable deadlines and then blame employees for not meeting them. So on to the seventh point, which is work and family transition. Work transitions are inevitable, forcing one to give up something and face a change. For example, like divorce, marriage, birth, death, or moving to a certain particular area. So moving on to the last point, which is number 8, which is rumination. Replaying an incident over and over in our mind. This occurs intrusion of thoughts about negative events can result in a loss of concentration, loss of sleep, and also feeling of depression. So with that out of the way, let us jump through to the next main point, which is warning of signals of having too much stress. So the symptoms of stress are divided into 3 categories, which is physical, emotional, and relational. So as for physical, stress occurs through sleep disturbance, tensions or migraine headaches, hair loss, sweaty palms or hands, and even skin problems. For emotional, it occurs through nervousness or anxiety, depression or moodiness, irritability or frustration, lack of concentration, substance abuse, and memory problems. Moving on to the third category, which is relational. Stress occurs through increase of agreements, isolation from social activities, conflict with co-workers or employers, overreactions, and also road rage. So that is all from me. I shall pass to the next presenter.
Thank you for the presentation. Assalamualaikum. My name is Zuhairi. Today I will continue the presentation about the stress management strategies. Okay. Eliminate all stress is not realistic, but we can learn how to manage our reaction to stress. The important tips is we have to make a stress management technique as part of our daily routine. Once we become aware of what creates a stressful response in us, we can look for stress management strategies that will help us to cope with the stressful situations. Let me tell you what are the strategies. The first is sleep. By getting enough quality sleep, help is one of the most effective stress management strategies. We can train our body to improve our sleep periods, such as develop sleep ritual. I believe that if we go to the bed and get up at the same time as often as possible, will help us to manage our stress with efficiency. Also, we need to avoid central nervous system stimulus such as caffeine, chocolate, alcohol, and nicotine near to our bedtime. For example, if we want to sleep on 10 at night, we need to keep those things away at least 1 hour before we get to our bed. Furthermore, we can keep our bedroom in cool temperature, well ventilated, and keep the bedroom dark when we want to go to the sleep. Second, for most people, the number 1 treatment for stress and tension is exercise. Even moderate can increase our heart rate to stimulate endorphin release, such as walking, swimming, and jogging. And even with a gentle exercise can help us to manage our daily stress and to improve motivation in ourselves. The third point is about the meditation. Meditation is part of relaxation technique that helps to slow our pulse, respiration, and brainwave activity, and it's also to lower our blood pressure. By practicing the meditation, it regularly can permanently rewire the brain to raise level of happiness. help to lower stress and to improve the health and help to improve the immune system function. Most of meditation technique involve this element. For example, sit or lie down in comfortable or quiet place where we are not likely to be disturbed. Okay, hence focusing on the sound of each of our breath by using abdominal breathing technique. There is also by training ourselves to think about calm and peaceful present. If your mind drifts, slowly bring it back to focus on the present. Next, the point is about the deep breathing. Deep breathing exercise forces ourselves to focus on the present movement rather than on things that are causing us stress. We take to 14 to 19 breaths per minute while at rest, and the goal is to lower it to under 10. However, there is two types of breathing, which the first is complete cycle breathing. You have to inhale, then pause while gently holding the breath in, and exhale, then pause while holding the breath out. And the second is about the abdominal breathing. Inhale, you have to inhale, press your abdominal muscle out and down. Exhale, pull the abdominal muscle up and in. The other point is solitude. Those who are constantly in touch with others can benefit from the therapeutic effect of solitude. Solitude can be viewed as an emotional breather, a restorer of energy, and a form of rest similar to sleep. Solitude is often required for the unconscious to process thought and events. Last point that I'm going to tell you is resilience. Resilience is being able to bounce back when confronted with stressful tension. It is not just a personal characteristic, it applies to team as well. When people have confidence in themselves, in another, and in an organization, it motivates them to push the boundaries and strive to achieve more without fear of making a mistake. Teams that are immersed in a culture of initiative, accountability, and a collaboration more likely to believe that they can weather any storm. That's all for me. We'll continue to the next presenter. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Putri Mahirah, metric number DCS 182004, and I will explain about psychological disorder and how to cope with them. Psychological disorder, or commonly referred as mental disorder, are patterns of behavior or psychological symptoms that can affect in multiple areas in life. This disorder can create distress for the people experiencing these symptoms. Example of psychological disorder are anxiety, depression, burnout, and etc. What is anxiety? Anxiety is a natural response to stress. It is a feeling of fear and or apprehension about what is to come. There are many kinds of anxiety, such as phobia, PTSD, OCD, social anxiety, and many more. As for depression, depression is a common and serious medical illness that can affect negatively on how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. Depression causes feeling of sadness and lost interest in activities once enjoyed. It can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can decrease your ability to function properly regardless at home or at work. For burnout, burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mentally exhausted caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel down, overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. Fortunately, these psychological disorders are treatable, but with variety of medical help or with a suitable coping mechanism. Coping with psychological disorder, there are many ways in coping that it depends on certain individuals. Here are some of coping mechanisms that you can use to help yourself to help to de-stress yourself. First of all would be seeking therapy option or psychotherapy. Psychotherapy means treating psychological problems by talking with a psychiatrist, psychologist, or other mental health provider. During psychological therapy or okay, during psychotherapy, you learn about your condition and your moods, feeling, thoughts, and behavior that causes you to be stressed. Psychotherapy helps you to learn and know how to take control of your life and learn how to respond in handling stress with healthy coping skills. Another ways to cope with psychological disorder is by changing your lifestyle. Deciding to make a change in your life is never easy. Breaking old habits and creating healthy ones can be challenging and sometimes discouraging. However, it is not possible. By living a healthy lifestyle, healthy lifestyle, such as having a balanced meal, exercise regularly, getting enough rest, and drinking enough water is more than enough to avoid psychological disorder. By eating a balanced meal itself can overall improve your mood. Exercise regularly can increase your body's natural production for antidepressant, which is good to reduce stress. Having proper rest or getting enough sleep is also important. It can have a major impact in your daily lifestyle. Refreshing some slumber helps you to hit the reset button on a bad day, improves your outlook in life, and helps you to be well prepared to face more challenges up to face more upcoming challenges. And lastly, in coping with psychological disorder is stay connected with others. This might be with your parents, your family members, your teachers, your friends, or even people from your workplace that you can trust. Talking to someone can help you figure out uh, ways to feel better and figure out ways to distress yourself. Sometimes by sharing a bit of your problem to your coworker helps you to know what actually you being over causes you to be stressed. So that is some ways in coping with psychological disorder. And again, there are many other ways, and I think that's all. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you to all presenters. Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhamad Mustaqeem bin Jamaluddin. My metro number is DEM 173002. So, my part, I will explain about what kind of positive psychology that can be used in order to, combat the stress. So, there are many types or there are many kinds of methods of positive psychology that can be used in order to adapt the stress that have overcome us. So, it could be good for us to learn or know about how to adapt the stress, because sometimes stress cannot be good for us all the time. So, what kind of positive psychology that can be used? I will explain about it now. So, the first one is happiness. Well, happiness is more than just a mood, or we call it as a way of living and working. And each person has a different happiness baseline, and fortunately, you can learn to raise yours. And by learning on how to raise your baseline, you can achieve higher and higher levels of happiness. So simply say, being happy is one of the good way in order to adapt the stress. So it could throw away the stress instantly. So what can I say is always happy. So the second one is laughing and having fun. So laughing is a gentle exercise of our body, like a form of inner jogging. So when you laugh, your immune system gets a boost, stress related hormones are reduced, and respiratory function is improved. So when you laugh, it really changes your mood instantly. So it's just like it's really easy for us to laugh, you know. Like example, you find something funny, like funny videos in the social media, and you found something funny and you laugh. So it's simple. When you like, you know, you are not in a good mood, so you want to find something that will make you laugh. So one of the method that I've said this before is it's good for you to, you know, to boost up your mood, and yeah, it could reduce the stress. And having fun while you are on the job does not preclude being serious about your work and caring about doing a good job. So the goal is to create a positive, fun-loving atmosphere that helps reduce stress levels. The third one is commit random acts of kindness. So acts of kindness toward friends, family, or even strangers can decrease the stress levels and improves our mental health. So we can do any kinds of random acts of kindness, such as when you are with your friends, let's say, you would like to treat them some food at the restaurant nearby, and you will see that they are happy. So once they are happy, you will be happy as well, am I right? So that could be one of the example that I could give on picturing the act of kindness. So doing random acts of kindness could also reduce your stress. And research study participants who completed 5 acts of kindness toward others not only felt much happier throughout that day, but also in subsequent days. Going on to the 5th one, use your unique strengths. If you focus on what you do well and what you enjoy the most, you are less likely to be stressed or depressed and more likely to be successful. And in one study, people who use their signature strengths were significantly happier and less depressed than those in the control group. And 6 months later, they still had high level of happiness. So try to do something unique within your strengths in order to, you know, less likely to be stressed or depressed or being confused. So you could do that. You can try something unique within your strengths. Next, number 6, set your goals. An effective way to overcome feeling discouraged and helpless during a difficult time in life is to set goals. So if you try to set a small one, attainable goals helps you regain control and feel a sense of accomplishment. So try to take a large goal and break it into a smaller chunks, and it says like what can be achieved during a week or even a day. As you check off each goal, you will see and feel a sense of accomplishment as you achieve your goals. So try to set any kinds of goals that you can do, even the small ones. So be sure to celebrate even small wins. And last but not least, regain or let go of control. So people experience stress when they feel like they have no control in a situation, and needless worry about things outside of our control is a complete waste of time and robs people of energy and time that can be put to other more productive things they can control. So in order for you to avoid something that you cannot control, try to do this one exercise. So you need to have one piece of paper and create 3 columns. So the first column is to write down all the things that you feel stressed about, and the second column is to write down the control word at the top of the second column and cannot control word at the top of the third column. So let's say that I stressed about multitasking. So can I control multitasking? And if I say that I cannot control multitasking, I just take it here. I cannot control multitasking. And how about games? Can I control games? Of course, even though I lost many times at the games. Okay, never mind then. If I say that I can control games, so I just take it here. I can control games. So there will be one thing that I cannot control, which is multitasking. If I say that I cannot control multitasking, I just throw it away. So you need to cross off the things that have a cannot control check next to them. Now stop worrying about things that you cannot control. Okay? And review the list of items that you can control. Develop goals and an action plan for each item that will help you cope or deal more effectively with the stress it causes. Okay? So just try this. It could be helpful. Okay? So, in conclusion, in my opinion, stress sometimes can be good if we think it in a positive way, such as challenging ourselves for something that we haven't done before. Yes, it's challenging, but it could be good for us as a benefit in our lives. So that will be called as positive stress. But most of the time, we will get this kind of stress that will overcome our emotions, like our emotions will be out of control. So if that happens, it will be difficult or even worse if we have it in our lives, especially in the workplace. So make sure if you have that stress, you need to overcome it. You need to adapt with it. You need to get away from it. So if you can avoid stress with all the tips that we have given to you, I will say that you are a very strong person. So I hope you guys can understand about the topic that we have presented, and hopefully you enjoy this video. And sorry if we are kind of lacking of knowledge throughout this topic. And that's all from us. Thank you for watching, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.